Well, Ahmed Sulaiman joins us now. He's the National Secretary General of the Arewa Youth Consultative Forum to look at these matters. Thank you for coming in this morning.
Thank you very much.
Well, again, we have to contend with this kind of scenario, and then looking through this. I know we've talked about this several times, but with this particular one, I mean, sometimes when you hear it, you don't immediately remember how you respond to some of these things. But in spite of all the talk that is being held and the actions that the authorities are taking, we're still getting these kind of situations. What do you think? How should we be approaching this matter in terms of solving it?
It's a daunting task to start with, because when you have an enemy who has the whole space and picks and chooses how he comes after you, it's very difficult to track him down. You just heard the report that they are actually making headways and they are narrowing them down, and there's just a few left who have been able to force their way through and create these attacks. But all the same, it has always been the same pockets of operators. They sneak around you and they hit you when you don't. Today they hit in Yobe, tomorrow they will hit in Adamawa, and the next day they will hit somewhere. So they keep you chasing the ghost. So the fact still remains, first, there is obviously the need, like he said, that you need more military presence. And I think that is, at this point in time, the need to really come out full blast. First, you sensitize the communities that something is definitely going to happen. As much as they can, they should be able to just get out of reach of these operations. But definitely they are coming out to comb. Remember, we have in history how the Gestapos were coming after the Jews in Germany. Almost door to door, 24 hours of every day, the military and other security agents of Hitler were around the whole of Germany. They were combing maybe about 1 million, so to say, Jews. And they managed to really get hold of a lot of Jews. And they know what they did with them. But equally, here you have a Boko Haram who are hiding behind the cloak of the northern Muslims. I don't subscribe to Boko Haram. I'm a Muslim, I'm a northerner. But you see, the irony and the tragedy is that you have a nation who now always seems to believe on the wrong things. The people in this country suddenly find themselves to be distrustful of each other for no reason. Because why do I say that? You see, when it is a northern thing, everybody tries to push it. It's a northern thing, it's not our thing. If it is a southern thing, the same thing applies. So where did you have this crack? We just have to get back to the roots. Something has gone wrong. Our minds has been abused to a level where we cannot stand each other, despite the fact that we appreciate each other, but something always comes in between. Now you see a lot of bucks have been pushed up and down. You have the caliphate at one point being focused on. Suddenly now you have one of the caliphate's sons as the national security advisor. Suddenly that thing has mellowed down. It's not as if there's impact in his activities.
Yeah, but that's where the people also raise questions. You know, while he was appointed, and when he was appointed, you have people who thought, okay, with that appointment, you may just have this, if not reduced to the barest minimum, but not suddenly having this kind of casual.
If you had not forgotten, I did say to you, it's a good step. What next? I did tell you that you will hardly probably see something as much as an optimist that I am, the game of chess was still going on.
Why do you think that is the case?
Because we refuse to face the facts on the ground.
What is this fact?
You see, in this country there are so many ills that has already taken place. Everybody knows. Now today the common man on the street, even the illiterate man on the street, knows the problems that the leadership have in terms of corruption and in so many other ills. We do not try to manage our system with our own homegrown recipes. We always try to borrow, we always try to pretend we are England, we are the US. You know, you cannot just be at par with these nations. But Nigeria, at one point, the leadership always tries to pretend they are at par with the President of America, the English President, Premier, or whatever. But we are Nigerians. We have a Nigerian government. We have a developing nation. We always refuse to face those facts. We have a community where the president or any other government institution does not have the statistics of how many citizens in figures. He cannot beat his children and say, I have so many people who I manage as a nation. Now, how do you start getting things right?
You know, that's also one of the problems. Some people have highlighted. I'm excited you're here because some would say it becomes difficult for us to know who we are or how many we are, especially in the north where you have some Arabs and some who are non-Nigerians, but for the fact that they can speak the language in that region, one just generally mistake them to be part and parcel of the country. It brings us to our borders as well as culture. The cultural integration, is it part of what is causing us some of this heartache we experiencing in the hands of the insurgents in that region?
No, cultural integration, it is how you make your bed, that's how you sleep. Cultural integration would have been a positive additive, but we still play down on those things. If somebody from Senegal can walk into this country and he will immediately from the airport try to first thing assume he's a Hausa man, he's a northerner. He cannot speak a word of Hausa or a northern language, but because of his mode of dressing, the stereotyped thinking, is a northern man. In fact, that is a very bad omen for us, because for us as a people, because we have that identity crisis of knowing who is he, a Nigerian first, or is he a Yoruba man first, or Igbo, we ourselves prefer now to consider ourselves as Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba than a Nigerian. Now right from there, to manage such a nation, you try to solve a problem, two more problems gear their heads on your table. So I pity the president's situation and any other presidents for that matter.
I'm happy you're saying that any other president, because sometimes, in fact, yesterday we had Rotimi Fashakin here, and he of the APC, and he said, well, that the president has not been able to handle this, and we thought that, okay, if given the opportunity and an APC president was to be in charge, what would you have done differently? Even though we never got any answer to that. Now you said even any president. So are you saying this is just not even about the president?
It's not about the president. We have said it time and time again. The constitution of this country, whether anybody likes it or not, has to be revisited. In what form? A new constitution has to be in the making. The longer we take, the longer and the harder the problems become. Because we take Sulaiman, for example, and put him in Nasarok tomorrow. I don't know what happens in that villa. The person you knew before he was there suddenly turns out to be the person you never knew. Now, how do you know? And then the people he ends up surrounding himself with. For example, I'll give you a picture. Take a look at how the special advisor, Reuben Abati, is today. And think back to what he was outside the government. Nobody would have dreamt Reuben Abati will be the person who is sitting in that chair saying the things he's saying. Because we know him for who he is, a crusader. I mean, that is the story of Nigerian rulership. There is no leadership. It is rulership. You come in, you either conform. Now that brings me back to the Sanusi issue. Some people kept on the argument that no central bank governor of any nation behaves the way he does. And so what? The issue is, we Nigerians now, which one are we taking for value? Is it that there is money missing, public money missing, or not? If it is 1 naira that has been missing, which the central bank said is missing, that is the issue.
Okay. Let's
So
look at,
this is the tragedy of this country.